Hey yo, what's up guys? I'm back already. Just a little bit of a warning. This chapter is a bit graphic. There's blood and stuff in this, so if you don't like that, well then, I don't know, click off. I wouldn't say there's too much of it, but, you know what? If anyone goes in the comments, which they probably won't, because I rarely get comments and complains about it, well, sorry. I've freaking warned you. Also, hey guys, editor me right now. Just gonna let you know now. Little curse warning. Okay. Chapter 3, Battle Scars. You and Ink were an underswap. Ink was checking in on how things were going since they reached the surface. Honestly, it was almost the same as Undertale, except for the fact that it's underswap and everything is swapped. You were sitting on a bench in the park with underswap papyrus, or Stretch as the Sans and Papyrusseus call them. Ink was with Blue, but they were somewhere else in the park. You looked around. Stretch looked down at you. Today was the first time you both met. Officially, that was. So, my brother told me Ink created you. Is that correct? He asked. You smiled and nodded. Yes, that's correct. He said. He stared for a second, then hummed slightly, and exhaled a cloud of smoke. You watched as the smoke drifted up to the sky, disappearing. Then a hole opened up in the sky, and blue strings came out and wrapped around your arms and upper torso and yanked you up. You screamed, and Stretch reached up for you, but the hole closed.
Shut up.
An unknown glitchy voice said. Suddenly, blue strings wrapped around your throat, squeezing slightly. It wouldn't kill you, but it was a threat too. You shut your mouth, and you were pulled into an area Ink called.
Welcome to the anti-void,
He said. You turned to your captor. Who are you? The strings tightened around your throat.
I thought I told you to shut up,
He said. He then continued.
I'm surprised Ink didn't tell you about me. I'm Error, the destroyer of AUs.
He said. Then suddenly the blue strings pulled you up. You were about 100 to 150 feet above the ground. You shuddered. Air scoffed.
I honestly thought one of Ink's creations would fight more. Pathetic.
He said. You looked down at the ground. The strings around your throat loosened a bit, allowing you to breathe properly. After a while, 2 portals opened. One of them you instantly recognized as Ink's. The other, however, you watched as the scene had unfolded. There were 2 groups of skeletons. The Star Sanses and what the Sansayus called the Bad Sanses. You gulped. This wasn't going to be good. You stood, exhausted. You had to use a lot of attacks. A portion were beginner attacks, but you used many of them repeatedly all at once. Killer ran towards you and swung his knife. You dodged and summoned Sharp Bones, a slightly advanced attack. You were still getting the hang of it, though. Horror lunged at you. You raised your arms in front of you and summoned a Gaster Blaster in front of you. It wasn't intentional, but it blocked the attack. You were surprised it held together. You tried summoning another behind you, and for the first time, you fired a Gaster Blaster. All the Bad Sanses in the way got out of the way of the blast. Suddenly, Ink yelled, "Why? Look out!" You looked up, and blue strings came down. You tried to move, but they wrapped around you like last time and lifted you into the air. You struggled against them. Suddenly your soul had been summoned.
Oh, God damn it, don't you dare!
Nightmare yelled. Then blue strings wrapped around your soul. No! Ink yelled. Error hoisted himself up with his strings and looked at you in the face with a malicious smile. Then, with one tug of the strings from his fingertips, your soul had been ripped apart. Your emotions drained. It felt like something was sucking the life out of you. Then, you felt immense pain in your chest. You tried to scream, but barely any sound could escape. The pain spread to your entire torso. Tears escaped your eyes. Then your mouth hung open. At first, blood just spilled out. Then, your organs. All of it landed on the ground of the anti-void. Most senses stood in shock and disgust. Error was disgusted. He stared at your limp body, and the strings let go. Your body hit the ground with a thud and a couple cracking sounds. You'd landed in the puddle of blood and organs you'd created. The star senses ran over to you. Blue was in tears. Jim was trying to comfort him, though he was on the verge of crying. Ink sat on his knees next to you and lifted your body slightly, not caring about the blood he got on him. Error stared in confusion. He destroyed many souls before, and they just had an instantaneous death. He looked back down at the other senses gathering around to see your dead body. He assumed it was probably because you were, for the most part, an artificial human, but your soul was also artificial too. Error sighed and jumped down and held you close. No, no, he whispered. Tears welled up in his eye sockets. Error rolled his eyes.
She's dead. Deal with it, Ink,
He said. Your hand twitched a couple times, then your head. You grumbled and forced a chuckle. Not yet, you said. Error paused and looked at you shocked, along with everyone else. You tried getting up, but stumbled a bit. You held your stomach. It hurt like hell. You glared at Error. Bastard. You started coughing, bringing up blood. You tried using some magic, but it didn't work. You sighed and looked at him. Way to go, asshole. I can't use magic anymore. You said, expressionless. Error stared.
how are you still
alive? He said. You shrugged. Dunno, but right now I feel like kicking your ass, he said, throwing a punch at him. He dodged, but it still hit his shoulder. He glitched a bit from being touched. You swung again, actually hitting him. He glitched out more. Ink grabbed your arm. Why? We should go, he said. You looked at him. Fine, you said. I tried creating a new soul for you, but it didn't work. He told you that you needed to reignite your soul, but in order to do that, you needed to find your emotions again as well, which would prove to be a difficult task, but you've felt most emotions before, so you could tell when you feel an emotion. Ink sent Blue back to Underswap, and Ink went to his room, and Ink sent you to yours. You got on your bed and laid down and stared at the ceiling. Eventually, you fell asleep. Okay. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please like. You can subscribe if you want to. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say here. Bye.